In a world ravaged by spiritual deception, where much of Christianity is led into grave doctrinal error, many churches and Christian bookstores are not safe places anymore. So what is a spiritual seeker to do? They are to test all things and hold fast what is good. My name is Chris Lawson, and this is Spiritual Research Network. Our goal is to proclaim the gospel, encourage biblical discernment, and expose dangerous mystical practices in the world and in the church. Join me now as we examine the issues of our day in the light of God's written word. You got to wonder what's going on here. Is this a lying spirit somehow communicating to Sarah Young? Giving her partial truths? Giving her truths? Well, remember Satan told Eve in the garden, oh, you're not going to die. You'll be like God, knowing good and evil. Well, she didn't die physically at that time, but she ended up dying physically and spiritually. She believed the lie of Satan. He told her a partial truth. Well, she did end up knowing good and evil. That's true, but in a sinful way, not the way God intended for them to know good and evil. You see what's going on here? Okay, how about listening? This is from Dunning International Encyclopedic-Psychic Dictionary, page 356. This has to do with so-called New Age journaling, listening, contemplative prayer, scribing. And here's a definition. Quote, listening. 1. Native American Navajo. See clairaudience. 2. Tibet. To view thought forms of one's own making as they take shape in the etheric world, similar to human and superhuman activity. First stage of discipleship. A technique of hearing the teachings of the guru with the heart. End quote. Interesting. Listening prayer, okay? Hearing the teachings of the guru with the heart. Okay, now I'm going to read you another one here. This one is the definition of clairaudience. People who are clairaudient claim to hear the voice of God and the voice of spirits, or the voice of deceased loved ones, who actually are not deceased loved ones. They're actually demonic entities masquerading as deceased loved ones, which is what seances are all about, or Ouija board usage. Okay, quote, clairaudience, French, quote, clear audio, end quote. To perceive sounds or words when no person present is speaking or no article is causing the disturbance. Sounds that are inaudible to the normal hearing range appear to come from, quote, within the head, quote, or from, quote, out in the atmosphere, quote, perceived singly, end quote. Okay, now, I'm going to read this definition again. I couldn't be clearer. Listen, clairaudience is a French word. It means, quote, clear audio, end quote. To perceive sounds or words when no person present is speaking or no article is causing the disturbance. Sounds that are inaudible to the normal hearing range appear to come from, quote, within the head, quote, or from, quote, out in the atmosphere, quote, perceived singly. So Sarah Young sits down, just like, a psychic or a medium, channeler. Voices start speaking to her. She starts writing the stuff down. And says it's Jesus. Wraps some Bible verses around with it. Maybe it's a counterfeit spirit. It's obviously claiming it's Jesus. And yet it's giving teachings from the Bible. And it's interlacing them and interfacing them and seasoning them with New Age teachings and philosophy. So there you have either personal human delusion, communicating false teaching, and saying it's Jesus. There's only one other option. Well, there are two other options. Total deception, fiction writing, saying it's Jesus, saying it's real. And the other option is it's a spirit guide or an alleged higher self or it's true channeling. Now, let's take a look here. I know this is a lengthy message. We're already up to an hour here. This is important. We'll tie this up in a little bit here. You can go to a page on my website and you can find this article. Again, the page on my website is Sarah Young's Jesus Calling, Another New Age Jesus. And this article is actually at the bottom of that page, along with all of these other articles and audio messages from different authors exposing this whole thing. And this is an article by Lighthouse Trails editors. It's called About That Jesus Calling, 10 Things You Might Not Know. Again, it's called About That Jesus Calling, 10 Things You Might Not Know. And I'm just going to read through these. It's not too lengthy. Number 1. Did you know that Sarah Young says she has been inspired by the, quote, Jesus, quote, of a book called God Calling? Number 2. Did you know that Christian publisher Harvest House's book, The Encyclopedia of New Age Beliefs, says that God Calling is an example of a channeled New Age book, quote, replete with denials of biblical teaching, end quote. Okay, that Encyclopedia of New Age Beliefs I have here. I could read you the text on that absolutely refutes God Calling as a channeled piece of literature. Okay, number 3. Did you know that, quote, Jesus, end quote, of God Calling teaches that God is, quote, in, quote, everyone. The Jesus of God Calling teaches that God is in everyone. Okay, great. So here we have monistic, occult, panentheistic teaching. Monism, we're all one. Occult, it's hidden. Panentheistic, God is in all things. That's what panentheism means. P-A-N-E-N-T-H-E-I-S-M. God is in all things. Okay, that's what the book God Calling teaches. Now, that's spiritistic literature. All of those names of those spirit entities I read to you earlier, that take these different names of biblical personalities and whatnot, they communicate the same type of heresy. That God is in all things. Or that we are all God. Or that we are all gods. Okay, this is occult channeling. This is the philosophy that comes through channeling. Okay, so God is in everyone. Number 4, did you know that the, quote, Jesus, quote, of Jesus Calling contradicts the Jesus of the Bible? Contradicts the Jesus of the Bible. Okay, well, Warren B. Smith's book goes into great detail about this. The contradictory teachings of Jesus Calling that contradict the Jesus of Nazareth found in Scripture. Number 5, did you know that the, quote, Jesus, quote, of Jesus Calling rejects the Jesus of the Bible's warnings about the future and tells us to, quote, laugh, quote, at the future. Laugh at the future. Oh, that's great. Laugh at Armageddon. Laugh at the day of wrath. Laugh at divine judgment that is coming. Laugh at apostasy. Laugh at, whatever. Laugh at the future. Yeah. If you're with it, you'll know. What's going on in the church today in Western Christianity? People want to just dance around. They want to party with Jesus. Jesus is their cool buddy. We're going to just laugh at the future. We're going to roll around and shake and cry and do holy laughter on the ground because, Kenneth Copeland and Benny Hinn and Todd Bentley and Rodney Howard-Browne and Rick Joyner and, all these false teachers, word of faith teachers, and the false revivals, we're just going to laugh. We're going to party. We're going to hang out with the Father. This is garbage. This is rubbish. Okay? We don't just laugh at the future. Okay? We're supposed to preach the gospel. And we're supposed to warn people about deception and tell the truth. Not laugh at the future. Okay, moving on here. Number 6, did you know that the Jesus of Jesus Calling frequently flatters his followers, which contrasts the way Jesus Christ spoke to people?
For further information on this subject, remember that Spiritual Research Network offers a growing selection of books, articles, videos, and audio messages that will help equip you to effectively proclaim the gospel and encourage you to be biblically discerning in these last days. You can visit our website at spiritualresearchnetwork.com. My name is Chris Lawson, and I want to thank you for your interest in and support of our Spiritual Research Network ministry.